I am back. My apologies, my apologies, my apologies. Have to be a parent for a little bit. That's another thing I have to talk about and continue speaking about young parents and also their parents. There has become too much toleration of certain things in America. One of the main things encouraging this gayness on our sons and also on our daughters. But encouraging gayness on our daughters simply encourages them to be more sexually active between not just men but also women. It just sparks a certain curiosity that they don't necessarily need, let alone desire. It's something that they're simply exposed to by their peers and also by their parents. And they don't actually need that exposure in order to get through life. There's plenty of kids, there's plenty of adults, rather, that never had to have a sex ed class and learn how to have sex just fine. There's a lot of adults who also didn't have sex ed classes that included learning about gay education that do not end up formulating the mindset or even opinion of being gay. And a lot of times, kids in this day and age become familiar with the idea of being gay through school and through gay education. And what may have been perceived without gay education is simply a boy thinking that another boy would be a great friend is now a boy now thinks this other boy is a good boyfriend. And if any of you guys are familiar with even the Rugrats film, nowadays a relationship between young children, such as with Tommy and with Chucky, will be perceived as a gay relationship when it's not. But that's the narrative that's being pushed onto society now, that they're gay or they could be gay. When there's no indicators or there was no reason for them to even be put in that category, they're still put in that category anyway. And that's something that we should also nip in the bud as parents. We need to teach our kids and educate them about Black history and also about straight history, not about gay history. Whatever, exactly. And I did speak about SpongeBob and Patrick in another one of my videos. That the dynamic that they push with SpongeBob and Patrick, because SpongeBob can be perceived as feminine at times, even though he is a male character, people assume that the relationship that Patrick and SpongeBob can have can be a gay relationship, even though they don't do anything that is gay. But another thing that things are that the media is starting to do, even in Finding Dory, for example, since Dory is the voice of Ellen DeGeneres, who is a gay woman, they also included a gay couple in one of the short clips in the film, but it still did make national news that Disney included a gay couple in the film. And a lot of shows are making sure to do that, to add gay couples into their shows or into their movies, as if it's some type of secret. Go put it in the trash. As if it's some type of secret requirement that I guess. Throw it away, please. It's some type of requirement that producers may have determined for shows and films that they have to include either gay or now interracial couples. And a lot of the times, the interracial couples that they'll have in the shows, even a Netflix show, for example, called Weeds, there was two interracial couples in there, I'll say. The main character's son was technically biracial, but he was black. The actor that they chose to play Kathy Bates' son was a black man. even though she's clearly white. And his girlfriend that they had in the show, I believe she was white and Asian, but she was projected as a white character in the show. I wouldn't say that she was unattractive, but at the same time, there was a lot of black women that they could have had to, simply have him be in a relationship with, but they always choose to opt out of that now. And there's actually another couple that's on the show. I don't even know either character's name, but I know the black guy is one of the co-hosts on Saturday Night Live. And the girl that they had him in a relationship with was so ugly. Like, she looked like a Neanderthal. Like, it was ridiculous that they even grouped these two as a couple. But they do that on purpose to black men. And even with black women, for example, like on Hit the Floor, as I said before, they had a white gay character, and he became intimate at one point with one of the, or with the Devil Girls captain, and she was black. He was gay again, so now the black woman is now sleeping with a gay white man. But for whatever damn reason, because Meghan Markle is in, we're supposed to be okay with this. And even the media goes so as far as to include little commercials with gay scenes in it with men, and almost every time it's a black man in it, unless the show network that it appears on is mostly with a white cast. But still, again, they always make sure on at least 1 to 5 channels that they have a gay character, and it's normally a black man, almost always. And this is not something that's imperative for them to do, but it seems like with the influx of gay faggots in shows, it seems like it is a requirement. When again, it's not, because there's shows that I personally watched that are new that have no inkling of gay anything in it, not even lesbian scenes or couples or anything like that. And they could have easily done that, but they chose not to because it's not something that's, again, required. And it's not something that we should keep on seeing on TV. It's not something that even should be considered, excuse me, for children's channels. It's not something I would even suggest for a children's channel. Like, I recall, the closest thing that they have for integration would be with like animals and people, not having sex, but just people talking to animals and befriending them, bears talking or something. But nothing major like bestiality. There won't be any gay anything. The worst thing you'll see in films from the 90s, maybe like people smoking cigarettes, but nothing that major ever. Nowadays, you have to watch out for pedophilia. You have to watch out for homosexuals. You have to watch out for the interracial shit. You have to watch out for the racially biased shit. You have to watch out for basically everything. And a lot of the things that are being watched out for can easily become a concern for a black person, because we can be in that boat, and normally we are in that boat every single damn time. It's normally us who's, the butt of the joke. It's normally us who have to do, the dirty shit in the films. It's normally us who has to, engage in activities that people are going to probably frown at the first couple of times. But then, once they become normalized to it, then they'll just shrug their shoulders at it. But it took a black person multiple times to play that role in order for you to get used to it. Really? No. The white man knows what the fuck he's doing, guys. He knows. And when they try to put people on Front Street, like the Christian cake company who refused service to a gay couple, when they try and turn these stories into victimizing basically the devil, we have to make sure that we understand what's happening and we don't immediately just say, oh, the Christian store was wrong. No, we know the store is Christian, so we know they're not going to agree with homosexuality. And we also know, just like we see in every single store damn near, that most owners reserve the right to refuse service to anybody. And regardless if they want to feel discriminated against, come here, Timmy, because of a gay cake, um, again, they can go to a different cake seller. They can go to a different cake seller and just simply have their, request performed there. They don't have to act like, this is the only place that I can go to, and they're just discriminating against. It's not that kind of situation at all. And sometimes it seems like gay people will do things like that intentionally in order to get what they want. And sometimes, like that, isn't it? It won't work. And a lot of times, it is the white man pushing a certain narrative to make straight people feel like, okay, maybe we should just be tolerant. No, no, you don't have to be tolerant if you don't want to be tolerant. It's a choice. That's why freedom of speech is in the Constitution. Even though we're not following a lot of the rules in the Constitution, and a lot of people are even making up rules that aren't in the Constitution, the least we can do is value the opinion of people based on their religion. And also, if that's not the only place where you can go to receive those kind of services, go somewhere else and get the service. Just like with Mexicans, if they don't like the way they're being treated in America, you came here illegally anyway, go somewhere else. There's plenty of Spanish speaking countries that they can easily migrate to if they choose not to, that already speak Spanish, that already know the customs, that don't have the same kind of border policies that America does. If anything, sometimes they may be worse, but at the same damn time, you're not going to hear black Americans complaining about it if they go to these other places. They're not going to have to worry about the complaints of not being able to speak their native tongue somewhere in another Spanish speaking country because everywhere they speak Spanish. In America, you know that we don't speak Spanish. You know that Spanish is not the first language. You know Spanish is not even a majority language. But it's being pushed so hard that it. Sit on the couch and watch Nemo. No. Sit on the couch and watch Nemo. Sit on the couch. Sit on the couch and watch Nemo. Sit on the couch and watch Nemo. He is about to break something and he does not get it. So, as I was saying, Mexicans have the choice. They can go somewhere else. These people from Honduras, they have the choice to go somewhere else. These people that are from all these different, South American countries, they can go somewhere else in South America and figure out their lives. They can also take what they've learned from America and go back down to wherever they're from and benefit their families wherever they are, instead of putting their kids at risk and putting them through the hardships of going through the desert in order to have a better life. When you get here, all you get afforded is a 2-bedroom house for 12 kids. What kind of better life is that for them? It's really not. It's nothing that America can really afford them that they couldn't have gotten or created on their own in their own place of origin. And that's also something that black people need to come to understand, accept, and mention. Mexicans are using the American system. They're using it. And a lot of white people are not a fan of it. And a lot more black people need to be not a fan of it too. There's things that we are not benefiting from in the society because they're too busy pouring their resources into the Mexican societies. Every single time you come across a black area, you're really coming across a Mexican area now. It's almost like for every one black person, it's 5 Mexicans now. And these are supposed to be the black cities. Every single time that there's some type of violent incident or occurrence, a lot of the causes of it are Mexicans. Outside of the white people calling the police, I don't mean those. I mean actual violent occurrences. Black people actually getting shot or being dealt some type of bad drug or something like that. Any kind of drug wars, any kind of gun violence. It's not always black people. A lot of the times it's illegal immigrants. Now, a lot of times black people get caught up in the crossfire between illegal immigrants, but they still call it a black shooting if there is a black victim, which is also something black people should notice when the media lies. There's a lot of things that we need to start clarifying and simply be honest about. You don't have to have Mexicans in your neighborhood. You don't have to keep hearing this fucking loud ass bell going down the street of somebody selling ice cream like every 30 minutes. We do not have to see burrito shops and burrito trucks and burrito cars and fruit trucks and all types of fucking shit that you know belongs to a Mexican all over the place. You do not have to keep going down the street trying to look for a parking spot because it's nothing but pickup trucks and old ass Honda Civics and Acuras all over the place. And you know who they belong to. It's ridiculous what is tolerated by us, and we're not allowed to do certain things. Again, once we break the law one time, even sometimes we don't have to break the law. We've seen in the news too many times now that black people now don't have to break the law necessarily in order to be reported to the local authorities, and we still can go to jail. Mexicans, on the other hand, can literally walk around undocumented, no ID, no nothing. Can be fucking illegal ass fucking wanted criminals back where they're from. And they get to walk around America freely. And you get to have as many businesses as you want to. They get to have any kind of profits, scholarship funds, all types of shit. The Dreamers and again DACA, they can be afforded a lot of different things. And we don't even know who they are. And we have to sit and literally watch these people progress in society while black people still sit in the same ass predicament. I mean, yeah, it's great to hear that black people are able to support a total of $1 billion into the hair industry. But are black people receiving $1 billion from the hair industry as a seller? No. But if they ran the numbers for the number of Mexicans who are benefiting from that $1 billion, it would exceed black people's. And it's going to exceed them in more categories than just hair. And black people don't have a problem with this either. We need to stop being so forgiving and stop feeling like because they were in some type of harder predicament where they're from, that we all of a sudden should just comply and let them walk all over us. Fuck that. You can't even put your kids in a elementary or middle or high school down the street from your house if it's a public school because they're already filled up with the goddamn Mexican kids. You cannot even go to the DMV. I'm in Oakland again. The closest DMV to where I reside is the Coliseum DMV. If you go there, don't expect to go anywhere else for the rest of the day. Even if you get there at 7 o'clock in the morning, don't expect to even get inside of the building until midway through the day. And don't expect to leave the building until they're getting ready to literally close. So we just need to be very honest again and straight up to these people. You know, I'm not supporting what the fuck you doing. I don't support it. You know, if you have whatever bullshit going on in Mexico, that's your goddamn business. But now you're on American soil. You're raising my rent. You're taking my parking spot. Now I can't get approved for certain things because you're here. Now I can't apply for this job because they're requiring everybody to with this specific role to be bilingual. I'm not about to be bilingual because you can learn the language. Spanish is not that far from English. So English speakers should not have to keep on complying for these goddamn Mexicans. We have to comply in one way or a goddamn another. I should not have to go somewhere and have to figure out hella quick how to learn Spanish because if I don't, I can't get a service provided. That's ridiculous. I'm all for people sharing their culture entirely. Share it, but contain it too. Mexicans used to have this understanding that when they left the house, they weren't speaking Spanish. They were speaking English. They would even say they prefer to speak English over Spanish. Now, Mexicans, what's English? They don't know. They don't even know how to speak the goddamn language of the land. And they don't want to. They don't want to break away from their culture in any way, shape, or form. They can now find employment with Mexicans who also don't speak Spanish or sometimes can speak Spanish. Speak English. And they still tell them if you want to speak Spanish, and if they have an issue with it, then it's discrimination. No, it's not discrimination. The entire Constitution has not one lick of Spanish in it. The Bill of Rights has no Spanish in it. All the laws of this land, no Spanish. None. Like it does. Why are we acting like one of our forefathers was of Spanish descent and we know he's not? Fuck the goddamn illegals, guys. And let them know to their fucking face. Because they don't mind saying fuck niggers. They know how to say that. Let these young ass girls know, the real hot ones, what they're doing is going to either get them AIDS or get them shot or get them put in the freezer like Kanika. Caught up and too fucking drunk to realize what's going on, that you're killing yourself. A lot of this generation is not going to be parents. They're going to be too young, too sterile, and too stupid to even have the ability to become a parent. And if anything, their parents are going to go through a lot of trouble to get custody of their kids. And they just won't have any kids at all. These are things that we don't like to take seriously, that we don't like to acknowledge, that even we like to deny. But the second we get to our house, we see what the fuck is going on. We have to be honest about this shit. With that being said, I have to go and tend to my lovely little toddler. I am going to expect there to be a lot of negative comments about these videos that I'm posting right now. I don't care. I'm still going to say fuck the Mexicans. And I have Mexican friends, and they will say fuck the Mexicans. So, it's what it is. I've had gay friends too, and they used to believe that they were ostracized because of their gayness, and it had nothing to do with them being gay. It actually had to do with them being black, and they would use the gayness as a cover-up to avoid the fact that they were insecure about themselves because of their skin color, not because of their sexuality. They fuck bitches now, since I clarified that to them. So, again, the faggot stuff, not with it. You guys have a great night. My dog really sucks. She sucks. She's awesome though. You guys have a great night. Thank you again, Fish, for visiting the store. And thank you to everybody else who ends up visiting the store too. You guys are awesome. Have a good night.